They say Christmas is the season of miracles. But that year, Christmas brought back something else, something darker. Because on December 25th, exactly 10 years after he was thrown into jail for a crime he didn't commit, he came back, and with him came the truth we all tried to bury. My name is Arohi, and this is the story of the boy we all failed. His name was Ayan, the quiet boy from our neighborhood, kind, soft-spoken, the type who helped stray dogs and carried groceries for old neighbors without being asked. But 10 years ago, on a freezing Christmas night, everything changed. I remember that night so clearly, the police sirens, the flashing red and blue lights, and Ayan's mother crying on her knees as officers dragged her son away. They said he had stabbed his best friend, Rohan, behind the old church. They said they found the knife. They said they had eyewitnesses, but what they never said was the truth. Because Ayan kept repeating one thing over and over again. I didn't do it, and no one believed him. Not the police, not the judge, not even us, the people who knew him since childhood. He was just 16 when they locked him away. On Christmas Day, I had tried to move on. Everyone had. Life continued. Seasons change. Faces change. But guilt? Guilt doesn't go anywhere. Then on the morning of December 25th, exactly 10 years later, there was a knock on my door. I opened it and froze. It was Ayan, older, thinner, eyes darker. Like someone who had stared at the same four walls for too long. He didn't smile. He didn't hug me. He simply said, "Arohi, I know who did it." His voice, cold, controlled, terrifying in its calmness. I stepped aside and let him in. My hands were trembling, but he walked in like he already knew what he had to do. He placed a file on my table, thick, worn out, with pages filled with old statements, photographs, and notes written in tiny handwriting. 10 years, he said. 10 years of thinking. 10 years of replaying that night. I didn't have anything else to do, except search for the truth. And then he told me something that made my blood run cold. According to Ayan, the real killer was someone close to us. Someone we all trusted. Someone with money, power, and influence. Rohan's own cousin, Dev Malhotra, a rich, spoiled brat with a history of violence. A boy who always envied Rohan because the family trusted him more. Someone who had gotten into fights, who had once threatened Rohan publicly, but back then nobody paid attention. Because why would they? It was easier to believe the quiet boy with no father was the killer than the son of a powerful businessman. I asked Ayan, "But how do you know?" He handed me an old photograph, taken the night of the murder, barely visible behind the church. But there he was, Dev, running, blood on his shirt, and the worst part? That photo was time-stamped. It existed all along. Someone had hidden it. Someone had protected Dev. While an innocent boy rotted in prison, Ayan didn't want sympathy. He didn't want tears. He wanted justice, or something very close to it. "You're the only one I trust," he whispered. "I need your help tonight." I swallowed hard. I didn't know what he planned. But I knew Ayan wasn't the boy I once knew. Prison changes people in ways you can't imagine. That night, we drove to the old church, the same place where Rohan died. The streets were empty, silent, covered in fresh winter fog. Ayan stood there, staring at the spot where his life was stolen from him. "He'll come," Ayan said softly. I sent him a message with that photograph. My heart was pounding. "Ayan, what are you going to do?" He didn't answer. But before I could ask again, a black car rolled up. The headlights cut through the fog, and Dev stepped out, smirking, arrogant, still wearing his expensive coat. As if guilt could be covered with money. "I heard you're out of jail," Dev said. "Congratulations. Want an apology?" Ayan didn't move. He didn't blink. He simply reached into his jacket and pulled out a recorder. He pressed play. Dev's own voice echoed in the silence. Recorded years ago at a party, laughing, boasting, describing how he killed Rohan in a fit of rage, and how his father bribed the officers to blame Ayan. Dev's face turned white. You can't use that. He stammered. Ayan stepped closer. I don't need to. I already sent copies to every news channel, every lawyer, every officer involved. By midnight, the world will know who you really are. Dev's smirk shattered. He lunged at Ayan, but Ayan grabbed his collar first, their faces inches apart. I lost 10 years because of you, Ayan growled. Now you will lose everything. Dev collapsed to his knees, begging, crying, but it was too late. Sirens appeared in the distance, this time for the right person, and Ayan. Ayan just stared at him, emotionless. Justice wasn't loud. Justice wasn't dramatic. Justice was quiet, cold, and final. When the police took Dev away, Ayan turned to me. For the first time in 10 years, I saw that 16-year-old boy again. The boy who never deserved any of this. Thank you, Arohi, he whispered. Today, I came back to reclaim my wife. I smiled through my tears. Welcome home, Ayan. December 25th will always be the day you returned.